They caught me drinking on the job.
Uh-oh. Not me. Well.
See, she's drinking on the job too.
Yes.
Oh, that way. What the heck's? Okay, you're over there. I gotta get this. I don't know when we'll get this right. I know.
We have a new background tonight, and we're on the opposite sides.
I'm fine. And we have one person in the chat room already. So important for our soul to get to see us through.
Very, very cool. Very cool. We have just a couple
1 minute until showtime.
1 minute until showtime. So when we actually go live, we'll tell you about our guest tonight because I got a little video, obviously. I've been doing those pretty much since we.
She's getting good at this. It's like she inspires me to be good. Can't say I am, but she inspired me to be good. Okay, now I gotta find you.
She is good. If you didn't see her Mark Anthony video, you got to go check that out.
Oh, I thought I was like, that was the first one I did, and I was like, yes, I'll never do that one again.
It's easy once you get it down. Once you get it down pat, it's simple to do. Kinda. I mean, it's time consuming.
Kinda. First, you have to do the pictures. Then you have to do the voice and put it so that it works with the pictures. And then, and somewhere in between there, you have to put the audio and not too loud. Otherwise, it's like, oh my Lord.
You can do it.
I think we just, talking over Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody. I am Gina B, and the place to be is here with me and Mama D, here in the Fox Den every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight we have Krystalya Marie, and I will play a video of who she is and what she does, and we'll be with her right after this. Krystalya began her self-healing journey in her mid-20s, yet her real healing didn't begin until 2000, when after years of working on self-worth and self-love issues, she discovered an underlying belief that had kept her from loving herself fully. In 2001, her faith and self-love were tested when she discovered a golf ball-sized lump in her breast. After doing all that she knew and trying many alternative healing methods, she was guided to create Krystagraphs, their color drawings, that during one brief session removed the lump. She subsequently had various ailments such as bladder infections, yeast infections, hypothyroidism, deep vein thrombosis, cancer, and more. In each case, she immediately received Krystagraphs to heal that ailment. She is a best-selling co-author with Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, et al. In the Wake Up book series, author of the 1 Minute Energy TuneUp book series and products, and former radio talk show host. Welcome, Krystalya, to the Fox Den. And here she is. Welcome, Krystalya.
Thank you, Gina and Mama D. I look forward to this. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. Yes, it is.
And I love your backdrop. And I was in the process of, I was trying to share the live feed over to the Fox Den page. And I'm not sure I actually did it right. So I'm going to quickly do that.
Well, I tried, but the thing is that it wanted to share as a watch party, and I'm sorry, but watch parties aren't as good. Just share.
No, I don't want to do watch parties. I don't understand the watch parties. I get confused. Do you get confused when you get onto something or someone's having a watch party and then they have live comments and watch party comments? It's like I never know where to comment. So I don't do watch parties. I'm not.
I just don't do watch parties. I do watch parties. The day later I will. I don't mind. But not the day of.
Oh,
confusing.
And here she is right here. Okay, Miss Mashan. Shoot, I nearly missed it. Well, you didn't. You're here right at the beginning. That lovely little fox character down in that corner, whichever way I'm supposed to be pointing, under Mama. Okay, that corner right down there. JoJo is the one that sent me that picture, and I've been using
JoJo, good taste. Now find me a fancy butterfly to go. I'll be happy.
Right. You have a mission, Jojo. But Krystalya, now there was a lot said, but in kind of brief, descriptions in that bio. And could you just kind of more elaborate more on your life, how it was before the Krystagraphs, what was happening in your life, and then how you came to discover that and how it worked for you?
Well, actually, as you mentioned in the intro, I started my self healing journey actually in my 20s after being beat up and stabbed by a fellow I was dating. And anyway, long story short, I started going to therapists after that and really looking at not just being the victim and trying to heal that, but also what it is I did to help create that situation. And I know that's a hard one for everybody, but I do believe from everything I've experienced now that we really do have a role in creating every experience we have. And that was what I found. And it was really about self love. And that put me on the journey of learning to love myself more. Fast forward to like 2000, and I thought I had really done the self love stuff. I thought I'd really cleared it up. And this is after 25 years of doing work on self love. And I go to this class, and this instructor says, "So tell me, anybody in the room feel like they've really healed something fully?" And I said, I put my hand up, and she said, "Come on up." And she does a muscle check with me and she says, "So what is it?" And I said, "My self love issue." And she's like, "Okay, so put your arm out." I do like this, And she's like, "So say, I love myself fully." And as I like to say, I miserably failed.
So as you were saying that, she was pushing on your arm?
Yeah, so they put you push down, and if it's a strong, then it's a yes. And if it's a weak, then it's a no.
Oh,
Wow.
And
All right.
there's lots of research on that. John Diamond is the originator, and there's a lot of research on muscle checking.
Wow.
Anyway,
check that out.
Wow.
you
Honey, do
don't
you
know
really
about
love me?
what was that?
Honey, do you really love me? Sorry.
Wow.
So she started asking other questions until we found that I had a belief that God would punish me if I loved myself. So you can imagine, if you think about it, you're sitting there saying, "I love myself, all is well," all these different affirmations, and your subconscious mind is saying, "Really? God's going to punish you if you do that," right?
Yeah.
So I had to work on changing that belief in order to really change everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, our show last week was on narcissists and empaths. There's a fine line, you know what I mean? Because people were saying,
Yeah.
well, because obviously you're empathic. I mean,
oh,
you know,
yeah.
so, but there's a fine line between a narcissist and an empath and what they do, but the self love thing, it's like, well, the empath will be like, well, if I do that, then I'm going to turn into a narcissist. And it's like, it's impossible. It's not going to happen.
Mhm.
But you feel that way.
Right, right,
I can't do that. I don't deserve that. All right. Whatever.
right. Yeah, absolutely. The difference, really, the way I see it between self love and a narcissist is really very self centered. In
Yeah,
other words, everything's all about them. And that's not what I'm talking about when I'm saying self love.
I
It's
know.
more of keeping that balance of keeping yourself loved and not making yourself always the second person, and yet
Yeah.
being compassionate and loving and caring about other people and hearing other people and not just it's all about me. So
Yeah.
self-love isn't about all about me.
Yes, exactly. But that's funny. It's though that because that's what our show was last
Right,
week.
Last week.
We were talking
right,
about those issues. So this week, don't want to confuse people as to what we're talking about from last week's show.
right.
Yeah.
To be
Understandable.
yeah. Well, all right. So you have all right. That is so hard. I can't fathom, you know, being stabbed by the one that you're in a relationship with. I mean, that's got to be so traumatizing. I mean, how long before you were not like the victim anymore? What was it that actually turned that around?
Yeah, I would say that took me 3 or 4 years before I really wasn't the victim anymore. I actually created another experience with the detective that handled the case, which was almost as dramatic as he was. We were living together and started a relationship after the case was over, and he went for his 9mm one night, and I headed out the door.
Oh my,
Ooh.
oh my gosh! So not good
Yeah.
luck. Not good luck with that.
Right. So it's not unusual to do that. Like you keep creating the same kind of experience until you start to really heal it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it took a few years to really move beyond it, but looking back, it took a lot more years than I realized. If you look at, like, I became a workaholic, I had drug and alcohol problems. They were all self-abuse in their own way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing. I went through that as well. That's rough
I'll
to
be right back. I've got a rainstorm starting. I got windows
go.
open everywhere.
Oh, okay. All right. No worries. But you know what I'll do? I'll do that for now, until she comes back. And yeah, so that is a really, I mean, that's just traumatic anyway. So now you're pulling yourself up, and what were you doing? Were you meditating? Were you doing yoga? Were you doing what kind of practices were you trying to get into?
Oh, initially I learned self-hypnosis and did a lot of simple things just to reprogram things. But later, as I started really growing, and just before I even met this person in 2000, I was doing some meditation and a lot more study of energy and energy healing. I got involved in reading Shirley MacLaine's books and James Redfield's books and Neil Donald Walsh, all of those books, and I started really building on there. And then I think it was Sonia, or I can't remember her name. Anyway, there was another one that taught these nice little meditations that I really liked a lot. And so it was just kind of a growing experience while I was still in the corporate world. And one day I walked into the office, handed them the computer, and said, "I'm done."
That's a huge step. That is huge. So,
It was. But, I saw how I was letting myself still be abused. It was crazy. I got one job, I billed 110 hours as a contractor for 1 week. That
Hot
was
damn, girl. What?
billable hours.
wow.
Hmm?
Ouch.
And I got an award for that. And the following month, they fired me.
Well, yeah, what are you gonna do? That's the corporate world. I mean, it's dog eat dog.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
1 minute and you roadkill the next. And
Mhm.
I mean, I worked as a designer for a long time, and I never ever fit in with that mainstream, you know,
Right.
bunch of them. They would look
Yep.
at me and be like, kind of looking down on me because I am out to save people money. I'm like, I can do that look. They don't have to spend $50,000. You can spend five and get that
Right.
same look. There's no
Hmm.
need. And I'm not going to waste people's money if I don't have to.
You know.
Right.
And
Right.
but that doesn't cut it in that world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, well, in my situation, what happened was the following month, they wanted me to demonstrate a software product I was doing for a client that we were under non disclosure with to their competitor. And I refused, so they fired me.
oh my God, for having morals.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Unbelievable. That
Yep.
that is so it. That's how the corporate world is. I can't
It
stand
is.
it and do
It
not
is.
want to be a part of it. And thank God you got out of it. So then, what did you do? Where did you go from there?
So after I left the corporate world, I was planning on opening a retreat center, started looking at different properties, got involved in a MLM in Michigan that turned out to be a con artist and a fraud and lost all my money.
Yeah.
We have
And in the middle of it all, I moved to Sedona, and then I discovered the lump in my breast that you mentioned, and I did all the work I knew. At that point, I was a practitioner of a soul retrieval process, and I did that work and a bunch of other things, and nothing was working. And I went to all these healers, and nothing was working. this medical intuitive says to me one day, you need to draw those images in your aura. And I remember kind of rolling my eyes and saying, yeah, right, whatever. Have a good day. That was like the farthest thing from my mind. And the next day, all these images just started popping into my head. And I said, I guess I better start drawing. And they were just sketches originally. And I would ask, like, what are they for? And I'd be told, we'll tell you that later. I'd say, are they specific colors? Yes. Well, what are they? Well, we'll tell you that later. So the first one was called Love and Trust. And it was all about trusting the process. And I actually finally finished all the colors to that one. And about, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks into it, I was guided to create one called The Angel of Self-Nurturing and another one to remove the lump. And in a 20-minute process, the lump was gone.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's really cool. I do have some pictures here of some of your.
They call me drinking on the job.
You did coin that phrase, Krystagraphs. That is what
Right.
you come up with, because Krystalya is your name.
Right.
And so what are these ones and what do they stand for?
Well, the one in the center is called the chakra opening and balancing. And in 20 seconds, it will open and balance all your chakras just by holding it against the skin of your non-dominant hand. The one to the, let me think, the one underneath the K is love and harmony. And that's all about creating more loving, harmonious relationships. And the one all the way to the far right is universal peace. So that's about being more peaceful and things just flowing more peacefully. The one in the bottom left underneath the S in Krystagraphs, the first S, not the second. That one's called Releasing Fear, and that's all about using it to let go of our fears and clear those so that we can live a more fulfilling, courageous life. And the one to the bottom right side there is called Love and Trust. That's the one I was mentioning, and that was the first one that I received. I knew what it was anyway.
Right. So that is really neat. And now that symbol behind you, I mean, you have that on the outside edges of all those, which is really neat as well. So
yeah, in fact, the chakra opening is the one directly behind me, the one that you saw in the center. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love these, and they came to you, and then so when you went back to the doctor and they said the lump is gone, I mean, but then you had other issues, like I said in the intro, so you would still have issues, but every time you had an issue, was it a separate Krystograph that you would get to draw for each separate individual?
Yes.
So how many
and I never went to a doctor, by the way. I don't do that. I am pretty much I won't say I never go to allopathic medicine, but it's very rare. I felt that lump and then it was gone. And so, no, I never actually had any tests on that. I did do some live cell blood tests with a clinician in the city I was living in near Sedona. And so some of the things I did with the health things that you mentioned were verified in that way, like the cancer in my blood. She was an expert at identifying cancer before it attached to anything, if it was in your blood. And she had actually done a lot of research with some research centers on cancer, and she found the cancer in my blood. We cleared that one with a brand new symbol. Within 3 or 4 days, it was totally cleared.
Wow.
Do you make symbols? Like, example, if I came to you and I said I have it, I'm just using me as an example. I have it, and it happened to be technically the same name or same what you thought. Like if I had thought I had found a lump, would we use the same Krystograph, or would you create a whole different one for me?
In most cases, I would use the same symbol for you. So as an example, the one for removing the lump that I used, the medical intuitive had a spider bite on her arm that was a brown recluse spider bite, and she knew that she hadn't cleared the poison, and it was starting to get to the bone. And she had just told me that. So I originally thought that's what the symbol was for, and I guided her how to use it, and it removed the rest of the poison. And then it was like the next day when I heard how to use it for myself. So yeah, they're used for a variety of reasons,
Okay.
for the most part. But I have well over 500 images at this point.
Wow. Now you have all right, so as we're talking about this, people can get these how and where.
Well, there's a few different things they can do if they want to experience them a little bit. I have a couple different gifts. One of them is called Boundless Energy, which gives you the ability to increase your energy. And there's
I need
even a Krystagraph in that one. You know, have you ever been in one of those meetings where you're like dozing?
Yep.
You know that feeling? Yeah.
Yep.
There's a symbol in that one that actually you put it against your hand while you're sitting in the meeting and it'll keep you awake.
I need one for Mama when we're doing the show.
I'm sorry. I have this thing where I yawn. I'm not tired. I just yawn. And to me, that's a whole other connection for something else. It's not because I'm tired or being bored.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that probably isn't that. It may actually be more to do with not enough oxygen for some reason.
Yeah.
That you're not breathing deeply enough or something. Anyway, people can get that by going to energytuneup.com, or they can just visit my website, empoweredspirit.com.
And she has these as well. So 1 minute energy tune-ups for peak performance and energy.
Right.
And she has one power symbols for attracting more love.
Right.
Has more. She does a lot, people. And we're going to try to touch on a lot of different subjects here. So mind, body, spirit. What is that middle one?
The first one is prosperity and abundance. Then the other one's art of healing, and the one in the middle is power symbols for self-love.
Self-love. That's one. Yep. I would have to put my glasses on to be able to read now. And you also have this 1 minute dramatically improve your health. So now all these Krystagraphs and things that you do, they are for self-healing, self-love, like you said, prosperity, weight, you can do for weight loss and whatnot. And me and Mom are both like, yeah, we both need that. But
Sorry. So here, explain to me. You say you hold it in your hand. So is it something that you mail to the person, or the person buy? How does that work? How do you work? That you say you hold it in your non-dominant hand?
In most cases, people get them via email, or it's a download. I don't create hard copy books primarily because of the cost to create them in color, because they have to be in color for them to work effectively.
Okay,
and so I create all ebooks so people can download and print them, and then they can just hold them against the skin of their hand. But as an example, where we had them up on the monitor a minute ago, if somebody were to hold their hand like against the not against the monitor, but close, where the palm of their hand was near the image, they would absorb the energy just doing that. Now,
which is the continuous energy?
What was that?
Which is the continuous energy one? I need to have it under my butt.
Oh, I don't have that. That's not on this one.
That's not on there. But on her website and everything, if you look at her page, there's a lot listed on her page and different things that she offers. And she does offer a lot. So be mindful of what you want, what you're looking for. So
and experience some of the free stuff, because like if you go to energytuneup.com, you can get some free stuff to experience them before you start buying products from me, because then you get to know whether it works for you, how good you feel about it, and so on.
Right.
So, and even that one where you said attract more love, there's a website called attractmorelove.com, and it's a free gift there too.
Nice. See, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Energytuneup.com.
There you go. Go there.
There you go.
Yep. Now, what is this that you're wearing?
This is a personal Krystagraph. So I do these as well for people, where I draw them specific to what they say their desires and goals are. And then I get their birth date and a few things, information, and then I tune in and get a personal Krystagraph, which is a one of a kind Krystagraph. Oh. So this is my personal Krystagraph. I know it looks like silly fish bones, but that's what they gave me.
It does. That's funny because I was painting the console on the boat today, and it was like really
I was
bright.
gonna say that looks like the one you were created for, you chose for the boat.
I know, and I'm saying I want to put a fish thing on there, but it's like fish fear me or something like that, and it has the bones in the fish. I'm like, this one looks like that.
But if you stood it up like one way, it could be a tree.
Oh yeah, just turn it right. Right. Which way would we turn it?
The other way. The other way.
There we go. No.
One way it's a tree. One way. We got you sitting there.
I know. Now you're gonna choke yourself.
No, don't do that. one way it's a tree, and the other way it's a feather.
There you go.
A feather. Oh, that would be a nice one. A feather.
A feather. I think I have. Oh, there is one that's called "Letting Go." That's a feather. It looks like a feather.
Yes. It does make sense when you explained what they are. You see it.
Right.
When you're first looking at it, it's like, even the peaceful and the harmony and peace and stuff, it's like a flowy thing. So it's like how an energy would flow,
Right. In some cases, they're very explainable. In other cases, not at all.
And like that does what?
So the one for removing lumps looks like a jellyfish.
Oh.
Okay.
And the way I was guided to use it was to visualize the tentacles of the jellyfish going in, grabbing the lump, and sucking it into the sac while the tentacles were healing all the tissue around.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And what about? Have you ever made one for lungs?
For what? Lungs? Oh yes.
I need a lung one.
Yes, there is one for lungs.
Right.
Like I said, I have over 500, so it's like, and when people ask me like if there isn't one already, I tune in and ask if there is one that I just haven't drawn, and I draw it if I'm guided to, and if I'm not, then it's not time or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know who your spirit guides are?
I don't ask because people get all hung up on that, so I've chosen to actually not ask. I just say, Great Spirit, please help me to come up with the right symbol for X, whatever it is I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's cool.
I call them my dream team.
Yeah. I mean, people get hung up on, are they from Pleiades? Are they from, and I just decided to not ask because I didn't think that matters.
Yeah, because it doesn't it makes it less complicated. You're not worrying about who it is. You just know what it is. Like what you're getting.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. The scariest one I ever had was, if you want to hear this, is one night I was talking to a friend and her husband had just had a stroke and he was in the hospital and he was tied to the bed basically because he couldn't process things where he would think them through. And so he was a chef and they had taken him as one of these classes for therapy to the grocery store to get some stuff and have him make one of his recipes. And when they got to the grocery store, he hopped out of the car and walked in front of traffic before they could stop him. Now, fortunately, he didn't get hurt, but he wasn't processing correctly. So that's why he was tethered to the bed. So she called me and she's like, they're sending him home in 2 days. I got to go to work. I can't leave him tethered to the bed all day. What am I going to do? And I'm like, well, all I can do is pray that everything works out. So that night, in the middle of the night, I get woken up and I'm showing this symbol and I'm told I'm going to rewire his brain.
Wow.
And I'm like, excuse me, I'm going to what? And every 2 hours that night, I was guided to visualize this image in my head and transmit the energy of it to him. And I didn't tell a soul. 2 days later, she called me and she's like, the night we talked? And I'm like, yeah. I said, so how's Jeff doing? And she's like, well, the next morning when I got to the hospital, they had him totally untethered and he was back to normal. And I'm like, yeah. So I just said, are you sitting down? And I said, I rewired his brain.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the power of energy. That's the power of positive mindset. That's the, people are always saying, about astro traveling and things
Right.
like that? And can you send energy? And can you receive energy? Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And so often we don't realize it, but there are little things you can do just to play with it with another friend to see what happens. And that's a good
Mama, you
way
want to
to
play with
start
me?
to experience it. What
Okay,
was that?
You want to play with me, Mama?
sure.
Where you just both intend that you're going to quietly work on the other or send them energy, and then you ask them later what they felt, and you know what you sent. You and you start getting feedback that way, and you start to realize just how powerful you actually are.
Right, right. We used to do that. We used
So
to.
if I want to send my husband a smack upside the back of the head, if he starts screaming, we're in trouble.
I do that a lot. I
Uh,
say, I want ice cream. I want ice cream, and I send it telepathically, and then Bob will call and say, "Hey, you want Dairy
Hey,
Queen?"
want to bring me some too?
Yes, I do.
yes, that works.
Okay, a lot of people might be thinking, "Oh my gosh, you guys are making light of it." It is a light subject. It's not something that you want to be heavy. And it's like, yes, some of the subjects that we're discussing that she does the Krystagraphs for are heavy subjects, whether it's cancer, whether it's different type of things that she helps with, but also making fun of it, not fun of it, but fun with it, raises the vibration and helps the energy to flow better. So just in case anyone's kind of going, no, 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 no. We're
as
nuts. We're
as the
not that
saying,
nuts.
laughter is the best medicine, right?
It
So
is. It is.
I really believe in that. So I like to laugh a lot. I like to be playful, even when I'm working with a client. I like to be playful. It's not because it helps lighten everything for them too during the process. Yes, it's serious, and yes, there's times you can't do that because
Yes.
it's too serious.
Yes.
But sometimes if you can find a way to lighten it, they'll be like, oh, I could look at it that way. Wow, and it's an awakening for them. So you just have to know when's the right time and when's not the right time.
Yes.
Exactly, exactly. And then look how happy you are and all the stuff that you have gone through, relationship
Yeah.
wise, work wise, and everything. And yet you turn around and you don't wallow in it and you don't let it defeat you and you don't let it, take that beautiful smile and make it into a frown or anything. And,
Right,
and you move forward. And that's the inspiration, and then you have the divine helping you, which is
right,
what more could you ask for, right?
Yeah.
right. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So you are a victor, not a victim.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah. I think it's really important for us to learn not to be a victim, and it takes a while. It's not like you want to just pretend it didn't happen. You have to go through a healing process. It's not like you want to
Yeah.
just put it under the rug, which a lot of people try to do, and that'll just come back to haunt you in one way or the other.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. I mean, you got to go through. Yes, you got to go through your steps, whatever it is. How
Yeah.
dramatic it is. It's like a grieving process, no matter what it is. Right.
Hmm.
So you got to go through those steps, but give yourself some time, to do that. But don't
Oh
go
yeah.
over that. Don't go over that time. You know,
Right.
if it's not like a life threatening thing or a 20-plus year marriage or something going down the drain or something like that, that's really devastating. You can give yourself a little more time. But if something brief, something whatever, give yourself a couple weeks. You know what? I'm just for instance, all right, just for instance, but give yourself that couple weeks. When you come to that end and it's like you're still wallowing, do something to switch it. Don't stay wallowing. I know
Right.
you can only self pity so much.
Right. Right.
Then it's
Yeah,
gonna.
and really one of the best ways to do that is look for the good in it. And I can actually say I can visualize the man that stabbed me. See him across the table from me. Now I would not want him actually across the table from me, but I can see
Yeah.
him there and I can actually thank him for the experience because now I can help other people that have been in these
Hmm.
situations that I wouldn't know how to if I hadn't had that experience myself.
Right, right,
Yeah. And
right.
and that's I've always said that as well. Is that no matter what has happened to us over our lifetime, it's a learning experience. It's something that you've learned through living it, but it makes you able to help other people with. For you, it was
Right.
being stabbed by the man you love at the time, and then we want to love to kill him. But that's beside the point. You now know what. So if somebody,
his life.
yeah. So if somebody comes to you and says, "This is what happened to me," then you can, as much as we can give, I can give aid by doing my, like we'll say, my mama love, right? I give you both sides of the fence. I've never been in that situation, so I would say find somebody who's been in that situation that can help you know exactly what you're dealing with, and this is what's given you that major plus. There's for me, there's always a reason for it, even though we don't understand why. At that time, you had no idea why that idiot did that. I mean, but there might be somebody down the road that is going through the exact same thing that needs someone who understands it 100%. And there you go.
Yeah.
It's not always easy, but it's sometimes
I've had some really great relationships and some really
winners.
My first husband, very volatile, very volatile. Like, you know, it was like knockdown brawls, you know, furniture getting thrown through windows, all kinds of stuff, you know, like craziness. And and you have to get away from that. And now we're like really good friends, you know. It took a long time to get that way. And even when we went in, like I had said this not that long ago. I'm like, we go in to get a divorce, talking in front of the judge. We're talking at the tables. We're like, all right, you're gonna do this, you're gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, I'll do this. You know, we're all right. The kids, you know, you have Father's Day, I have Mother's Day, I have New Christmas Eve, you have Christmas Day. You know, we're just talking. And then the judge is sitting up there and he's watching us and he's like, you guys sure you want to get divorced? We both went, yes. And he went, okay.
Yeah.
It was so funny. We're like, oh yeah, no, we're better friends than you know, we cannot live together.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. Well, I seriously have a million questions down here. Mama.
Okay, I got one. How important is your intuition in helping you to fulfill your dreams and desires?
Well, to me, it's extremely important. So when we can tune into our intuition, we can do things a lot easier and faster if we listen to that guidance and we follow the guidance. The biggest key in my mind is learning to trust the guidance and act on it. So often we can let our mind go and start questioning whether is it intuition or is it ego or what is it, right? So I've actually created little processes to weed all that out for myself sometimes because it can be challenging at times. But but to me, it can make a huge difference. And intuition actually saved my life when I was in my 20s.
Do tell.
Yeah.
I love to drive. Okay, if I could have been a race car driver and guaranteed I'd die if I got in an accident but not maimed, I would have been a race car driver. That's how much I love to drive. So I'm driving down a 5-lane highway one day, and I'm in the left of the 2 lanes going my direction, and I intuitively suddenly know I need to know where the person is to my right. So I quickly check that out, and I know that the person coming toward me from in the left turn lane is going to turn as soon as the light changes. And the light changes, that person steps on the gas. I know that the guy on my right is turning to the right, so I don't have to worry about him. I put my car into a sideward skid and missed the person making that left turn.
Wow.
I had skid marks that high up the sidewalls of my tires.
Wow.
And when I got home, I actually had I saw a neighbor, and I'm like, please touch me and tell me I'm still alive.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, it was just so miraculous. And it was like split second, just intuition said, oh my God, that person's going to turn. You better know where that person is.
I'm always like that at driving, you know, because I've been in several accidents, none of them my fault, you know, and I get hurt each time, but I got smashed into a guardrail by a big truck. You know, they drive me crazy. You know, if Bob wants to pass a truck, it's like he'll come up to the side of it and then slow down right next to it. And I'm like, go, right? This is right where I was when I got mashed into the guardrail. What car don't you understand? I would get like every time we get into the car, and it's like, go, either go by them like at 100, get away from them, right?
Mhm.
Or stay way behind them, right? I
Right.
hate trucks. I hate them. They do scare me. But the intuition thing, though,
Yeah,
that
and
is
that's a
what
lot of
I
people
said.
don't listen to it. And this is
Right.
proof that you
Yeah.
should.
Yes, because
Absolutely.
those are
And
direct links. You know.
we do. We have direct links all the time, and sometimes it's hard because I'll give another example. I have this little thing I do, in if I really want to know what's the answer. So I'll have a situation. I had a situation where I was going to go do business with this company or this guy, and I had three different people call me and tell me how awful he was to work with, do not get involved with him, etc. And yet my intuition kept telling me to work with him. Except I kept getting these phone calls and I was like, oh, my intuition must be off. So what I did is I said to Spirit, I said, okay, I haven't seen any butterflies recently. So I'm going to go for a walk and show me a butterfly if I'm supposed to work with him. And if I don't see a butterfly, then I'll know that I'm not supposed to. And
Mhm.
I trust that. So I'm out walking and I'm looking for butterflies. I'm like, wait a minute, you can't do it that way. You just have to
It will.
trust.
Yeah, it will come to you if it's going to come.
Right. And
Yep.
by the way, I saw a couple white butterflies that morning while I was looking, and I was like, nope, can't count those because you're looking for them. I sat down on a park bench, went into meditation, and I heard, open your eyes. And that far away from my nose is a monarch butterfly right here looking in my eyes. I'm like, okay, got my answer.
Yeah, just
There you
like kind
go.
of like the one that's about your eye level right there on the screen right now.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my god! Hi, Jonies. Hi, everybody that's in the chat room. Please
Hey, y'all.
share the video. For those of you who are going to be just listening to this audio, and yes, we're making quite a lot of references to her Krystagraphs. Please
Go to YouTube and check it out.
Right. Go to the YouTube channel, which is The Fox Den, hosted by Gina Bankston. Like, subscribe, and you can see the videos there. So if you're just listening to the audio, go there if you want to see the video. You want to see the video.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. 'Cause we're
I mean,
fun.
talking about and discussing things is important because then you get to understand the context of it. But to really understand 100%, you need to see, like to see her Krystagraphs, you need to see them to understand. Maybe not have them in your hand, but at least to see you can get the idea of what it's like by the description in your head. Your mind's eye can create its own picture, but it's not the same thing that when you see the thing. So yes, go on over to YouTube and subscribe, or I'll come find you and kick your butt. Oh, sorry, did that with a smile too. See,
And you don't want that. Trust me.
don't want to be mad.
So,
Pretty sight.
so now that, besides the threat to everybody, let's talk more about self-love. All right.
There you go.
What would people seriously though, what would people need to know? How can I put it? What do they need to know to get into like the mindset that you were about the self-love journey that you were on, where you thought you were doing one thing, but then you find out that you're not? So what would you say, what's the easiest way, the best way that they can get on the fast track to the...
So the best way is really understanding how to determine what is the core belief you have. So if anything in your life is not really serving you, then you aren't totally loving yourself. Okay? So if you're working a job that totally doesn't serve you and you're only doing it because it makes you some money, you probably need to look at whether you really love yourself. Because if you're not happy, what's the point? Okay. So look at where there are areas in your life that are not serving you. If you can find some, then you probably need to work on self-love. Then what I recommend is learn muscle checking, and I have free reports right on my website, empoweredspirit.com, that you can go get those free reports, and they actually teach you how to do applied kinesiology, not just this way where you have a second person, but where you can do it with yourself. So as an example, you can take and make a circle, make another circle, and ask a question. Like I'll say, my name is Krystalya, and I'll pull and it won't break. But if I say my name is Gina, it breaks loose. Now,
I just tried it and it worked without even thinking about it because I was, it works. Well,
Right. Now, if you're not hydrated, so there's some tips in there. Like you want to make sure you're really hydrated. You're not drinking alcohol. You're not drinking caffeine because you won't get accurate results when you're doing that.
All right,
But
I'll have to wait till nighttime then because I drink a pot of coffee every morning.
she does. She has the pot with the straw in it, and that's it. I have a cup. I have a special coffee cup for you, Gina. I'll show it to you next time.
I have a huge one from Dunkin' Donuts that does hold a whole pot. It's
good.
It's that big, and it's a handle, just like my regular little cups, but it will hold the whole pot.
Wow.
It was a joke, but we ended up using it. My working with me.
Well, I'm a tea drinker, so so I don't do muscle checking in the morning when I've got my caffeine in me either.
Yeah, you need the caffeine. But you're so thin. I mean, you're so thin. Do you eat?
Yeah, Tina and I right now are jealous. Like we're like, okay, thank God we're like,
Yeah, well, recently I went to the chiropractor because I have a double S curve, and every once in a while I'll actually throw it out. I usually just manage it with energy, but she's like, "Are you eating? You don't look healthy. You're too skinny."
I know.
So, yes, I do eat, but I do eat like really, really healthy because I used to drink. Are you ready for this? I used to drink 15 Pepsis a day.
Whoa! Talk about sugar rush.
Oh, that
Yes.
was in my stomach.
And I was actually skinny even back then. So it was just like all that sugar and all that caffeine was just burning up so much. But yeah, I used
please
to
do
have,
not use that as a diet, people.
no.
No.
No, then I became pre-diabetic and a lot of other things. So I turned all that around. But yes, you don't want to be playing those games.
No, definitely not. No, you look very healthy. It's just that you're very, very thin. And it's like, I remember being thin.
And the thing is, there are people there are women who will not eat to try and get as thin as you, and you don't have to. You just like, that's me. Like.
Yeah.
Well, I've had times where I did put extra weight on. In fact, when my mother was dying and I was at her hospital bedside for days on end and eating the wrong things, I gained like 15 pounds in less than a week.
Sure.
Wow.
That's when your self-worth or your self-love took the back seat to being with your mom, to taking care of your mom. You forgot to take care of yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's kind of understandable.
Yeah, that was
but
and it took me over 2 years to drop that 15 pounds. Put it on in a week and 2 years to get rid of it.
Yeah. So. There you go. Just a quick one there. In the chat room, Joan Costello said the thumb thing was great. It's true. It did work. You just ask yourself a question. He said, "My name is Darlene." This is okay, fine. And I said something else, which I know wasn't true, and I wasn't even thinking about it. And when I did it, it released. I was like, "Wait a minute, let's do that again." You sort of. It's so simple, and it works.
Yes, and there's 5 different methods in that free report, by the way. So as an example, for some people, if you just do this, you'll feel a difference on the yes and the no answer. It'll get sticky if it's a no answer.
Can't do it this hand because I ain't got no feeling in these fingers these days.
Oh, that worked.
Did it?
Yep. Don't want to say the question, but yep.
Did Bob put the toilet seat down?
I do this. I know. Don't lie to me.
You didn't, you see?
And it's not doing this either. The world smells violin, because that's what comes
I like that.
Oh my goodness! All right, Mama, you got another question?
Yes, I do. Can you share some simple tips for those people who need to build their self-esteem and self-worth and self-love?
So the first tip I want to recommend is do that muscle checking and find out where you're really at in your belief. So I would start with, I love myself completely. And don't use the word unconditional, by the way, because the conditional word, even without the on, could could make it go one way or the other without intention, without that intention. Your
Yeah.
subconscious doesn't hear the on. So say I love myself fully, and see if you're strong with that after you've learned how to muscle check. And if you're not, then say I deserve to be to love myself fully, and see if you
Mhm.
feel like you deserve to love yourself fully. See if you desire to even love yourself fully. Remember, this is not at a conscious level. This is at a subconscious level. So you can say, oh, of course I know I desire to love myself. Well, is that true or not? Does your
Yeah.
subconscious believe that? And, keep going backwards from there to find where you are at. Then I have a whole process for this. Then uproot those old beliefs and replace them with new positive beliefs. And so many of the teachers out there teach, I love myself unconditionally, and I teach, I love myself totally and completely. I don't want to take the risk that your subconscious hears unconditional and thinks it's conditional. So some people, unconditional works, but it's not worth trying when we can do something that's far more powerful and actually vibrates higher anyway. I love myself totally and completely is way higher vibration if you start to calibrate it. If you're familiar with David Hawkins' work and calibrating the level of something,
Yeah.
it vibrates way higher. So
Yeah,
why would you not
it's
use
a
that?
positive affirmation. You're taking
Right.
the doubt
Yeah.
away because
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear people say easily and effortlessly, easily and frequently, easily, ease and grace, anything but not easily and effortlessly, because now you're focused on effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practice,
Okay. Yes.
practice.
Again,
You gotta practice.
and again, it's in the wording. In certain things, it's the way you word it and the way you say it. It's the way your subconscious takes it. So that makes a lot of sense. Did you? Okay, just a quick one. Did you write these? Like you're going with this question, the questions for yourself. I'll say. Do you have a list of these questions on your website in your book?
With every single process that we go through, like in the self-love book, there's a list of beliefs to check yourself on. And then there's suggested beliefs to reprogram. And then I tell people, take time though to see if it's in your wording, because some people don't resonate to my wording.
Yeah.
But you still want to make sure you're using positive wording. And then what you do is you want to bridge from where you're at. So I had this belief when we did the muscle checking with that teacher that God was going to punish me if I love myself. So we literally started with, I desire God's love when I love myself. I deserve God's love when I love myself. God loves me when I love myself. Before I ever got to, I desire to love myself or any of that. And so I think I ended up with like 60 or 70 different affirmations. But if you do it with my processes, with the symbols, you do that one time. Okay.
Okay.
Then what you do is you take the final affirmation, like I love myself totally and completely, and you say that every day, frequently in the mirror, whatever. And in 10 days, go back and muscle check and see where you're at. Do you love yourself totally and completely? If not, go back further and say which one, where is the break in it, and then do the process again. Then forward.
Yeah, because way back in the day, I did affirmations kind of sort of like that, but because my mind is so busy with 101 other things, because I put everybody first. In the morning, I would Post-its on the bathroom mirror. My husband hated me. Post-its on the bathroom mirror, and I would do the whole range of Post-its. And
Right.
this would be what I would say it to myself out loud. So that was my way of remembering to do it, because you get up every morning. You got to go brush your teeth. You look in the mirror. Ah, there they all are. So you sort of have to go through them every time. And I made it so that every time I went into the bathroom, washed my hands, and there we go. I went through the whole range. And now I cannot remember all of my affirmations. But I know that I'm not the same person now than when I started on my journey.
Right.
Because I built up on steps.
Well, that's the thing. It's a personal journey. It's a personal thing. We all change. Hi, Bob. There he is.
It's mine.
Well, you got to put up 3. You got to put up one for our guest too. So you need
Yes, we're gonna make this guy work. We were thinking about you earlier, Bob.
Here we go.
There you go. See,
Did I do
we
it
were
right?
talking about putting up the toilet seat or not. There you go. Hello. Bob's going, I'm not doing that dang heart again. She started something here. Okay.
Trying to make sure that we're gonna play the ad, the hour mark. Oh, there's another
Oh,
one.
there it goes. Got another little heart.
Oh, that is a heart for you. Just telling you right there. All right.
You know what's funny? It looks different here,
Yeah.
but when you go on Facebook, it looks the same. Just a little bit skinnier.
No, because it looks like 2 red hearts and then 1 black one.
But it's not. The red hearts are little fat red hearts. Because I looked on Facebook the other day, because last week I got cheesy heart. I got the same thing, big heart, little heart. And I was like, what the heck? And I looked on Facebook, and it's 1 fat red heart and 1 slim red heart. So
Oh,
there you go. And we noticed Gina and I got the fat ones, and you got the nice slim one. There we go. Hot day. We still love you, Bob.
It's not like we don't know this already.
No,
Right?
Chunky Monkey.
Affirmations.
Hey, I'm used. I know, like, everybody sits there and goes, yeah, but like, if you could use a little. Look, I know I could lose a little weight. I have no issues with losing a little weight, but I'm fine the way I am. I'm a happy chunky monkey.
You are very happy. I can attest to that. She's very happy. I love you very much. Either way,
No.
no matter what you do. But what she's
That's
talking
okay.
about, though, what Krystalya is talking about is these things are a personal journey. They are
Yes.
your personal affirmations. They will change. They will change with whatever you're going through at the time, because you get into a relationship, it's all sunshine, daisies,
Mm-hmm.
ups at the beginning, and then the honeymoon phase is over, and then you get back into reality, and then it's either going to work or it's not. And then there you are. Now your whole physiology will change again. Right. So then then things, whatever major disruption can happen in your life can throw your whole body out of whack.
yeah,
Everything out of whack. Your work's out of whack. Your kids, nothing is the same. So your list will change.
yes,
And
yes.
that's what you need to do.
And I had a numerologist after I renamed myself. So I was not born as Krystalya, okay? And after I renamed myself, several years later, they said to me, because I went through all this drama afterwards, and he's like, well, if you'd have talked to me before you renamed yourself, I would have prepared you for this. And he actually recommends that women do not change their last name, that's the biggest reason that so many people end up in divorce, because that last name change changes who they are energetically. And so they show up different than what the guy thought you were before.
I'm
like, oh.
That's something to think about right there. But why did you come up? What was with the name Krystalya? I love it, by the way.
It was a guided thing that happened through the whole process, and I happened to fall in love with crystals. And so as I was guided to change my name was Sharon originally. And so I went by the nickname Shasha for a while as I was renaming myself. So I have friends that still call me Shasha too. And
I like that.
so then gradually this just came to me in a dream. And I don't know where it comes from, because I've researched, there's only a horse somewhere in the UK that's named the same name, and a baby that was born right after I chose the name in Hawaii that was named Krystalya with the middle name Marie.
Wow.
Oh,
And
wow.
I changed my last name too in the process. So yeah, and I did it legally, so I've gone through the whole legal process and everything with it. And
So did your family have issues with you changing your name, your full name? I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, you change your first name, but your last name is like, what you were born with. Did your family have issues with that?
Well, that's a
oh
lot.
yeah. Of course. And part of it, though, you got to realize is I'd been married, so I had a married name, and I didn't want to continue that married name any longer. So it was, do you change it back to your maiden name that was 30 years earlier? Why not
Okay.
change it to what I want it to be? So
Makes sense.
for a long time, I had family members just refuse to call me anything but my last married name, which is what I had gone by legally up until I changed it. And my sister was probably the most embarrassed. She started doing some work with me with a client, and she called me by my name, Sharon, in front of the client. and she was so embarrassed by it, she
Mm.
posted a Post-it note on her computer to remember to call me Krystalya,
Aw.
Wow.
which I thought was so sweet of her to do that.
You know,
Yeah.
with the what do you call those? The hyphen thing, not the hyphen, the
Apostrophe.
apostrophe at the end of Marie too. So what was the point of that?
I don't know. Spirit just told me to do that, and I did it. And it confuses people because they think it's not Marie, that it's got to have something else with it because of this accent on the end.
Yeah, I'm like, is there some? Yeah, I kind of was. I was like, well, is that a typo? And I'm like, nope, that's not, because it was on everything. I'm like, yep,
Yep.
okay, there it is. You know, but I mean, I'm Gina Marie. Most of the Ginas that I know are Marie. You know,
Mhm.
there's a few out there that aren't, but very, very rare. I mean, the majority of Ginas I've met have been Marie. But mine, I was actually, the Marie comes from my aunt, who was my godmother. We were
Oh,
talking about that before with the Catholic thing. So we won't
right.
go.
Yeah.
We won't go.
Well,
We-
I
what?
I think it's about time for a little commercial break.
It is. It is.
Yes.
So I was just getting. I was getting over there. I was getting over there.
Okay.
All right.
Listen, because we when we get going, we just kind of like get going, and I don't want our you know
Our sponsor.
our
to get upset
our
with
sponsor to drop his hearts.
us. All right. We have a couple commercials, and we will be right back in
Don't
about
stay
5
there.
minutes. Yeah. Don't go anywhere. The Fox Den is now proudly sponsored by Vortex Ghost Gear, one of the leading fabricators of paranormal equipment. Bob Christopher is the founder and creator of Vortex Ghost Gear. He has decades of investigating, starting with his team at NEPA, and as lead in the popular local TV show Ghost Detectives, he has experience of how spirits could be seen or heard. Using this knowledge, he has manufactured equipment for specific scenarios of spirit manifestation and communication. He is the only manufacturer of the popular lifelike trigger prop cats and dogs. Using proximity meters wired to lights and sound, these prove to be highly effective communication devices in the field of study. The HTO, another Vortex exclusive, allowing specific items to be the highlight or trigger of your investigation. For example, place the item on a metal tray or attach directly to any metal object such as keys or glasses that continue to go missing or moved. Ask the spirit to touch the item. The HTO will light. It has a sound option as well. This device was used in Travel Channel's Ghost Nation with great results. The Dome, a static detector, can be the most useful device in your gear bag. This is to back up the theory that the spirits manifest using static electricity. Using several, you can track a spirit, for example, walking down a hallway, setting off each as it passes. The geophone detects vibrations. This is another way to track movement. If a claim is footsteps in the hallway or stairwell, set the sensitivity and place the device in that area. Its band of lights will show a range of vibrations from the slightest tapping, lighting only a few lights, to the loudest thumping, lighting the entire range. The Easy Scan Ghost Boxes are very popular due to the ease of use. They are custom decorated to the individual or team using them. Bob programs and uses an Arduino-based computer scanning FM waves to potentially communicate with the spirit realm in real time. Every box is unique and all custom hand decorated by Gina Bankston. The V-Pod has a special place for those who love the idea of REM pods. Use this sleeker, smaller, easier to transport device. It is a must-have in your gear bag. Take your investigating to the next level with many of Vortex Ghost Gear's unique and custom creations by Bob Christopher. Visit www.vortexghostgear.com to view all the products and get your equipment today. You can also investigate with Bob and Gina with ghostly excursions, taking people to some of the most haunted locations in the USA. Visit www.ghostlyexcursions.com and join us on our next adventure.
Chris Lee is a clinical hypnotherapist specializing in his system of past life therapy, which eliminates people's persistent aches and pains, fears and phobias, and debilitating emotions without prescriptions, medicine, unnecessary operations, nor ongoing therapy. His Life in the Past Lane series of books include Life in the Past Lane, Fears and Phobias, Aches and Pains, and his latest, Crimes Against Humanity, and there are 2 more in the works. They are client true stories and testimonials of how a system works for people. And he also teaches you how to do his system as well. Contact him for more information and or book a Skype session with him. He currently has a special running through the end of June, which is buy 1 book for $10, 2 books for $15, 3 books for $20, or get all 4 books for $25 plus his CD entitled Relaxation Plus, which is a $10 value. You can contact him at www.pastliferap.com or email him at cl@pastliferap.com.
And we're back.
And I'm
Mama's
dancing.
listening out to the music. I know it's not as good as your ringtones, but you know, we're limited as to it.
Don't talk ringtones. Some of them are really bizarre. I was one time in the doctor's waiting room where everybody's like really quiet and we talk in hushed tones. And some gentleman take into granted and into mind that I live in a farming community. There's like a lot of farms, not that many, but quite a few farms. The gentleman's phone rang and it was a cow. So all you heard very loudly throughout the entire waiting room was moo. So, oh God, the poor guy went 60 shades of red. That was funny. So be careful what you put as your ringtones, people.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah, I hang out with Mary and Bob's sister, and hers is that, hey, your phone is ringing. Pick up the phone. Your phone is ringing. It's like and it rings every 2 minutes. So we'll be out shopping or whatever, and people are looking, and it's on like super loud. And then mine's always off. And she's always yelling at me because it's just silent. I have it on silent. I'll look at it, and it's not always on me. So I'll look at it. I'll catch up later. If you really, really need me, call the house.
Yes.
I don't. Maybe that's why she didn't give me her house number.
Oh, but that is funny. But also though that last ad, Chris Lee's special that he's running now with those books is the end of June. So that's just a few more days to get that.
Couple days away, people.
That's right. Jojo, that's why I love your show. It's like being able to talk to friends that I miss dearly and get to learn new things every week when I watch. Well, that's our point, Jojo.
That's our process.
That's what we try to do.
There's a method to our madness.
There is. We try with the best of intentions and the positive energy to flow out to you guys. That's why it's a variety of guests every week. And something new, something different. Sometimes we don't agree with the people, and sometimes we do. But
we give everybody the chance to let them be heard.
Right.
Like I said.
Right. And I love people like Krystalya who have overcome so much, and I can definitely relate. I mean, I had the roller coaster ride. I've gone up and down, and JoJo has, I know JoJo personally, and she's a very close friend of mine who's now living in New Orleans. But she has that roller coaster ride of a life, as we all have. But it's how you deal with it. And what you do to overcome it. And, you can be a victim or a victor,
Right.
And she's a victor. I'm a victor. I'm not saying, shit happens. That's life. Stuff is going to happen.
Yep.
So,
right.
Exactly. I have a question. I understand you went from millionaire to broke and then, and that, try this one again. I understand you went from millionaire to broke and that you are on the climb back. Can you tell us a bit about what happened?
Well, I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but when I left the corporate world, I had this vision to open a retreat center, and I went back to Michigan to visit some friends. I grew up in Michigan. And as I'm visiting, this one woman says, "Oh, you need to meet this guy. He's just starting this business." And it was a product that was a non-toxic product for killing rats and mice, but it was totally non-toxic. And it was
Yeah, okay.
actually being shown on the news in the Detroit area. So it was legit. The product
Okay.
was. Turned out the guy was a con artist. He had conned the inventor as well as all of us, and he walked away with a bunch of my money, I'll just say.
So
And
where is this gentleman right now?
I think he's now out of prison, but he did spend some time in prison. Uh,
Well,
but
that's
yeah,
good. But I guarantee you he didn't learn his lesson because those people usually don't. And they just open up another business in a different name or start conning
Yeah.
other people.
yes.
Buyer
And that's what
beware.
I found out about him was he had already done that. And as I spent 5 years of my life trying to stop him. Well, first building the business and then trying to stop him. And at the end of the fifth year was when I called my broker to pay my mortgage, and he's like, "What money?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Well,
I wasn't paying attention to it because I so wanted to stop him. I literally was undercover with the FBI for a full year on my dime, flying back and forth from Arizona to Michigan every month, recording stuff, and the whole shot. And he actually didn't get arrested for our stuff. He got arrested because of an IRS fraud.
Capone. All right, that's all I gotta say. All right, same
And
thing.
then
Those
as he was
guys, get away
being,
with this crap.
I like what you said a minute ago, because as he was being released from prison on the first count, they got him to confess to, he was trying to start another business doing a similar thing just before he actually went into prison. And so they were going to try him for that. And he actually pled guilty and got some more prison time.
Unbelievable.
He's in the revolving door.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was where I lost the money.
But do you believe in karma?
Yes, I do believe in karma. And, you know, who knows what my role was in that too? What did I do that caused me to deserve to lose all my money in a previous lifetime or a different part of my life too?
I often wonder. I often wonder with these things, but I also think that someone that can't handle it, it won't happen to.
Right. Oh, I agree. I don't think we're ever given anything that we can't handle. Now, some of us don't handle it as well as others for
Yeah.
whatever reason, but yeah, I don't think we're ever given something we can't handle.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I totally, it's like I gotta say it again. I mean, the roller coaster ride. I mean, I've been at the highest of highs,
Mhm.
tons of money. Then I was homeless. You know what I mean? And then
Yep.
you have nothing. And it's like you up, down, you up, down. Um, it's what
Yeah.
you do with it. It's what you do. Where do you want to see yourself? You know,
Right.
and don't wallow in the things that are going on now if it's negative, because
Hmm.
this too shall pass. It will.
Right.
It really will.
Right. And we talked about intuition earlier. During that year after I found out I had no money, I put my house up for sale. Okay. For sale by owner because I'm like, I can't even pay a realtor. I can't make my mortgage payment. It took 10 months to sell that property, and the money kept showing up. I can't even tell you all the different ways. But I listed it for sale by owner for 225, and the realtor who had sold it to me 4 years earlier said to me, calls me up and says, "You're never going to get that much money for it." He's like, "I wouldn't even take the listing for over 208." I said, "Well, I guess we're not doing business. Have a good day," right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
kept being guided to increase the price while the realtors are all telling me I've lost my mind. And you want to know, I sold that house for $265,000 cash after 10 months of roller coaster and trying to figure out where the money. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just do not know. And that was all intuitive guidance because everybody thought I had lost my mind every time I was raising the price.
Right. Well, I started my house in Mass at 400, and then
Mhm.
my real estate agent was like, "Why?" No, because I paid 150 for the house, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm up to 400, but I put a crap ton of money in there. It's got a $50,000 kitchen. It's got a $50,000 addition. It had a $60,000 backyard. It had, you know
Right.
what I mean? a lot of money I put into it. So, it was built up to there. But,
Right.
I'm like, no, that's what you're listing it at. That's what I want. That's what you're listing it as. If you don't want to list it at that, then bye-bye. I will find someone that will. Or I'll,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
but,
Yep.
and I put it out in the universe too, because it's like, all right, well, if I'm supposed to move to Pennsylvania, then all of this will work. And
Right.
it did. And it did,
Yes.
and I ended up
Yep.
buying here, the first house I looked at down here,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I saw 100 in between. But and this one actually fell through. It kept on going, pending, like I think 3
Hmm.
times. And then the last time, that I'm like, well, I wanted to go see that one again. And he said, well, it's, someone's trying to get financing for it or whatever. And I said, just tell them I'll give them cash. And they were like, oh, all right. So they accepted it. So I was like, oh shit. Okay. So now they accept this one. Now I got to make sure that that one up there sells. And then it was just like, bing, bang, that one sells,
Right.
put
The
up the bid,
dominoes.
that one sells,
Hmm.
all the right time. You know what I mean? Close on one, you know,
Yep. Oh yeah.
it,
Yeah.
things work out for a reason. When you ask
Hmm.
the universe, like, is,
Yep.
is this the right choice for me? And
Yeah.
if you get that gut instinct that's, stabbing you in the stomach, making you nauseous, making you feel sick, instead of the hairs standing up for excitement, you're getting the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. That's the, fight or flight, thing. Pay attention to all those things, because,
Hmm.
then it will always steer you the right way. Hey, Dan, long time no see. There's a new
Yeah, same here. Never have, but same here.
there's a new face in our chat room. But so that was the question she asked, though, about going from millionaire to broke, was the question that I was going to ask you. That was so funny.
Oops.
Like, I was sending you the mental, and
Great minds think
where I
alike.
wanted to go.
As okay, hold on. As my father would say, God bless his soul, great minds think alike. Fools seldom differ.
Ah.
I love my dad. He's
Yep.
a special man.
But that is where I wanted the conversation to go. I really did want it to go towards prosperity. Now, did you design Krystagraphs that go for prosperity?
Yeah. So during that year, actually, I managed to manifest a trip to Australia for a full month. And then when I came back from that trip, relisted the house again because I took it off the market while I was gone. And when I came back, I went into a quest in the desert all by myself. And I got lost out in the desert. And while I was out there, as I got lost, it started raining and lightning all around me. And I
Ooh.
was like freaking out. And there's these big tumbleweeds all around me, and we're in a drought, right? And I'm thinking to myself, this is not a good situation, and I've run out of water. And I called a friend and I said, um, here's where I'm parked. I'm lost. If I don't get to your house by such and such a time, please call the sheriff or the park patrol to look for me.
Send out the
They're like,
Marines, please.
what was that?
Send out the Marines, please.
Yeah, right. And my friend said, well, we're not going to do 5 o'clock, but if you're not here by tomorrow morning, then I'll call the park ranger. And I'm like,
Oh, no, spend all night. No.
so I sat down and started meditating. And I said, well, at least I'm shorter than other things around me here. And I went into meditation and I got this symbol called infinite prosperity. And I knew what it was going to look like when I didn't have anything to draw it. And then I asked for guidance how to get back to my car, stood up and walked to my car and was in my car in 5 minutes.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
But I
Lucky.
needed to receive that image.
I
Yeah.
would have freaked right out. I would have been panicking, going out of my mind. We have a couple people in our chat room. Jojo's been to Australia. Jacob's been to Australia. I've never been to Australia. I just, like, it's too hot, and they got giant spiders and things like that.
I knew she would go there.
I'm sorry.
She saw one this big the other day. I was on with her, and she freaked.
I
I'd
did
be
not
like,
killed it. I just killed it. It was a jumpy spider.
I would put a glass over top. It was on a napkin. Pick it up,
I'm not,
go
if I
outside, and poof.
get a glass, it would have been gone, and then it would have bit me. No, I had it in my sights, and it was gone instead.
Well, I had a black widow spider that lived on the bottom of my grill outside of my office when I was living in Arizona. And I went outside at night and shot pictures of her and that red like violin as she's hanging on her web, right? And I didn't think anything of it. And one day I'm in my office and I see a black spider going across the wall. And then I see another one. She had babies.
No,
Yes.
I'm already thinking that they're climbing on me. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yes.
No.
So I don't like killing anything like that, but I ended up killing the babies. And then I'm sitting in my office working, and I realize that she is above my head, the mother.
Oh, now she's mad because you killed her babies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so I think I better get her somehow off the ceiling. So I climb up on a ladder, and I don't have no pesticides in my house. I have Windex, right? So I spray Windex at her, and she jumped towards the direction the Windex came straight at me, and I went falling off the ladder.
Oh my
But
God.
I did catch her. I did kill her. Because it was her or me, right? But yeah, I don't like to kill any kind of bugs. I tried it, but I'm sorry, brown recluse and black widows.
Black widows and things that are going to eat you for breakfast.
You have to stay outside.
No, thank you. No.
Yeah.
And I don't want to move where they are. I really don't. Bob, don't be saying that there's some black widows around here or whatnot. I didn't know. But I had seven spiders, all different kinds, coming at me within a day and a half. I'm like, all right, what is the universe trying to tell me with all these damn spiders in my house, right? I'm just in my house and not like, near me, like on my arm, on my chair while I'm sitting down to finally relax. I'm like, what is it? What is it? Stop. Just stop. And then there was one that crawled on my arm when I went to go to bed. And I said, that's it. Then I'm like vacuuming. It was like 11:30 at night. I'm vacuuming my entire bedroom.
She slept with the vacuum.
Yeah, Bob's watching. Yes, I did. It was right next to me. Then I just had to push the button and I had the hose, just in case. But oh my God, it is right now. It's out in the hall. It's right there. It's plugged in and ready to go, just in case.
Okay. Did you know what wolf spiders are?
Yes, and I don't like those either. They run right at you. They're not afraid of you.
No, they're not afraid of you, but you want to know how you can keep them out of your house?
No.
Mix peppermint oil and water and spray it like about 8 to 12 inch wide path anywhere they could come into your house along the outside or just on the inside. They won't cross it.
You know what? Someone did tell me that because I was posting about it with all the spiders, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's a sign, and you need to go and look at this and look at that, and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah."
And Georgia said she saw hardly any in Australia.
Well, okay, but
yeah, I never saw any in Australia. My favorite thing in Australia were the lorikeets.
What?
The lorikeets. They're a bird that it's just real pretty singing. I don't know.
Oh, neat. Well, I'd like to see a koala.
Yes.
What do you got?
They can be vicious.
Talk going on now.
They can be vicious.
All right, hold on. It's this one here. The bugs I really hate are wasps and hornets, and I love butterflies. So
yes.
Good taste, Jacob.
Yep, that's good.
The only thing that bugged me about wasps and hornets is the buzzing sound. I don't like that sound.
Yes.
The sound makes me nuts. Whether it's a mosquito, a fly, I have no issues. And bumblebees is a different type of buzz, so it doesn't bother me as much. And I always sit there and go, okay, guys, yeah, it's a different sound to me. But that's. Ugh.
Yeah. Hey, Christy. There's a
Jojo said she held a koala.
Oh, how nice. Oh, yeah.
Gina's now officially jealous. Okay.
I know. You didn't share a picture of that when you went there. Rainbow lorikeet. Well,
Dave is from New Zealand. No, Australia.
No,
Okay, I can never get this.
Yeah,
Australia.
but,
Okay.
but he's down there. But I watched some shows that were filmed down there, like the Opal Hunter guys, and then the Gold Rush Parker Schnabel went down
To
there.
what?
You have never watched Gold Rush. I didn't watch Gold Rush
Nope.
until Bob, but yeah, I got caught up on Gold Rush. But they're up they gold mine in the Klondike, and then
Okay.
Parker Schnabel is his name, but you know how I say it's Parker.
Yeah.
Parker Schnabel, and
Parker Schnabel.
he went to Australia last year to gold mine, and it was so hot, and people are kind of nuts, especially with the mining areas, like I don't know. I after watching that, I'm just like, I don't know if I want to go.
Jojo got kissed by a kangaroo.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that.
Smoochy, smoochy.
how sweet is that, But in the magpies, yeah. That's
I have
really
a friend who lives in New Zealand, and every time he wakes in the morning, he does a live video outside, and it's all you can hear is birds. And I don't have to turn the video on, but I don't have to. I close my eyes and just listen because it's different birds. You can hear the different birds, and it's like, oh, good morning.
Yes. Yes, I love the sound of birds.
Yeah.
Except for blue jays. They're screaming little terrors. I don't know that much. They
Yeah,
are. They're bullies.
They are bullies. They are. And
They are.
woodpeckers, when they start going brrr, 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 first thing in the morning, that's not fun either.
Yeah. Except when I have a dumb woodpecker. He tries doing that to a tin roof. Dude, seriously, you're not gonna find any worms in there.
Yeah, that's a little tough on the beak, I would think.
Well, and he doesn't. He does it at least once a week, and
Really?
it's not like a short amount of time. It's like, I'll say a good 5-10 minutes.
Wow.
And it's like, dude,
Well,
could you
determined.
go? I'm awake already. Here, Lord, let him.
Positivity.
Positivity. He's digging for gold. It's in the gold rush.
I'm so sorry, Krystalya. This
It's good.
it happened.
Our show is it starts off on one track and then it kind of goes over there and then goes back on track and then goes
Hey,
go back.
we're having fun, aren't we? That's not what we're supposed to be doing, is having fun.
Exactly.
That's it. Oh my God.
Nothing to be sorry for. Seriously, this is fun. Oh, wait,
Good.
that's not serious.
I'm glad you have.
We are not your run of the mill everyday interview show. We are the run of the mill nut jobs, but you'll love us anyway.
Hey.
Oh, you too, huh? I've always said that if anyone says I'm sane, then they really don't know me.
It's like normal. What's that?
I don't know. But so you used to have a radio show though. What was
Yeah.
that? What was your show about?
Energy healing.
Energy healing?
Yeah. Yeah. So mindset, energy healing, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Did you do like meditations?
No, we didn't do meditations. They were all interviews, or sometimes I just did my own show. But yeah, they were primarily interviews of different, a lot of Hay House authors and people that have written a lot of different books on energy healing in a variety of ways, sound healing to just about everything.
Now the sound healing. Were they like with the bowls sound healing or their own voice sound healing? Remember I just
Some were music, and some. One of my very dear friends actually does sound healing with her voice. She was on my show several times. She is of Native American background, so she does these very unusual sounds. But when you listen to them, it's like my description the first time was I thought she had a whole orchestra in her voice. She was standing behind me. And one time I went to one of her events in Sedona, actually, and I got stopped for drunk driving afterwards because I forgot to ground myself afterwards.
Oh.
And when the cop said, "How much have you had been drinking?" I just busted out laughing.
I drank a shitload of energy, and that's about it.
That's
No
it.
alcohol. Trust me.
Yep.
Yeah, They didn't arrest me or anything. The guy thought it was
Thank
pretty
God.
funny, and I
I have a friend who does the same thing, except his is with a keyboard. He does energy music, and through the different and I love meditating to his music because sometimes you need that sound, but some with the words and the guided meditations,
right.
but sometimes you just need the music, and this is really I like.
Well,
Yeah, I
it's
love
also
his music.
Native American. I mean, there's Native Americans, like even the drums.
Oh God,
Chris, my old co-host, he would meditate to, Native American drums. Now, for me, I wouldn't be able to get into a relaxed state with the drums going, but he
Right.
can,
Right.
it's again, it's a personal thing. What works
Mhm.
for
yeah,
him's not going to work for me. What works for
Right.
mama might not work for me. And what works for you, So
Right.
you got to find your thing, and it's
yeah,
not like they're hiding. All right, these meditations and these things for you to start reining it in, start helping yourself. They're all online. There's a lot of things online. There's a lot of
Right.
free
yeah.
things. Try them. Test. Put your feet in the water. Test it. Krystalya, go to her site. Test it out. She's got a lot of free little things there, and if you
Right.
like it, you continue. If it's working for you, you continue. That's where you go. If it doesn't work, then move on. Try something different.
Right.
Exactly.
But what is your issue at the moment?
Right.
And how much do you really want the healing? How much
Right.
do you
Yeah,
really want to change?
Right.
exactly.
And
Everybody
listen to
loves
shows
Jello,
like
but
your
there's so
show.
many different flavors.
Right. And listen to shows like your show, because here you are, you're demonstrating for people all these different things that are out there. It's a great way for people to learn about a lot of different modalities without trying to search all over the web for all of us.
Yeah, so just don't. Never mind the rest of YouTube. Just check in with us. And
That's right.
if you don't have it, if here's the thing, if you think of something that you want to learn about, message Gina and I. Don't forget, I also have a show on Sundays. So if she can't get it on hers, I can get it on mine. We never know. You
Right.
never know
And
what we can
then
do.
we can always do a special pop-up show.
Hot
That's
diggity.
why we want you to go and subscribe
Exactly.
to
Hit the
YouTube.
subscribe, hit the notification bells because there's things happening. Gina and I might be doing a card reading show someday real soon.
That's right. I got
She
new
got new cards.
cards. I got new Foxfire cards. Ooh,
Sorry, Gina wasn't a card girl. She had a couple of decks, and she was happy. And I'm a cardaholic. Hold on, can you see? I have two rows of shelves over there that are double wide. There's about 34, 35. I can't remember how many. And so Gina went deck hunting, and see, she's now
yeah.
a cardaholic.
I
I'm
am.
a bad influence.
She's got me hooked. Yep.
I think we should
Follow,
start
follow,
cardaholics.com or something, because so am I.
How many do you have?
follow
No,
the
I don't have a clue how many I have. Probably
I had a friend.
25 or 30 at least.
Yeah, I had a friend. I call them tickle trunks. The big trunks, steamer trunks.
Right?
She had two of them full.
Wow.
Yeah, she was an intense.
Wow.
She collected, and she was an intense angel guard reader, and she worked with many other cards. So the point was, she would go to an event. She would fill up her tickle trunk. I call it a tickle trunk. She'd fill it up with her cards, and she never knew from one minute to the next. And I think I do the same way when I'm doing a reading for somebody. I don't choose the deck. I sit there and go, okay, Gina's coming to my house tonight. Who wants to come out and play with Gina? So the cards that I'm drawn to are the ones that want to come play. So I can just imagine a big old trunk. I'd be like head deep in there.
Oh my God, I can picture it. I can picture you doing it. Absolutely.
So I need to win the lottery just so I can get a couple of tickle trunks and fill them up with interesting
There
cards.
you go.
Here we got a question. Jojo says, "What are your favorite crystals, Krystalya?"
Krystalya.
Oh, well, my top two favorites. All right. So my favorite is amethyst, and my second favorite is dioptase.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
My favorite is your amethyst.
There's my amethyst, right? Yep.
Mine is back there, right up top shelf. Can you see it? All right, with my little fox.
We can't see it.
Right there. Right there. It's being hidden by a little fox, but it's right there. I got a big amethyst right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have an amethyst that stands about 2.5 to 3 feet high.
Okay, we're coming to your house and doing a heist.
Ooh, nice. Cheryl
Yeah.
says, "Hello, Krystalya." Hi.
Hi, Cheryl.
I once saw,
What's your
and I'm not sure what it's called, but it was amethyst, but it was this huge thing that people would stand in front of it and look like wings. I was like, I would stand in front of it, squish them, make me into a sandwich, and leave.
Yeah, you never walk away with that thing. That's for sure. It's gonna be heavy.
No, I'm sure, but
But what's
in
your
my
what's your
mind,
favorite? What's your favorite crystal, Mama?
mine amethyst.
Oh,
I don't. It's the purple. I mean, I'm thinking it's the purple. I mean, look, I've got a dinosaur egg, okay, and he's purple, and he sits with me as when I stress out or when I'm trying to focus on stuff. I just sit there and hold him. But for me, the amethyst is my go-to.
Right.
Yeah, I just took all my crystals out of here. I had them all in here. I just took them
Well,
all.
I've got.
Now, but I love, honestly, I love tiger eye. I really do.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's another favorite.
Yeah, my father had a tiger's eye ring, and when he passed, it came to me, and I never wore it. And as a matter of fact, I think I bought it from. I used to work for a jewelry manufacturer. I bought it for him, and I never wore it, but I always had it. And then one day something happened with my daughter, and I just knew that it was time for her to have his ring. And it just like she has it. Doesn't wear it either. I think she wears it around a chain on her neck, but.
Mhm.
Yeah, tiger's eye is also another one.
That was what I used to wear as like a teenager all the time. I always had it, one wrapped in wire and all that kind of stuff. It was always, because I was always so tan and everything. It just kind of like it went with my whole aura. I had the big copper bracelets with the big tiger eyes in them, and all that kind of stuff. And I still have them. I mean,
Right.
I still love it. But I have bracelets so that I have that go all the way around. But I use them for different, you know. Areas. If I'm going
Right.
on investigations, I'll bring different things.
Yeah.
Or what do I feel like? I'll always have my tiger eye, and I'll always have like my hematite, and
Right.
things for protection, things for It depends. It depends on the area and where I'm going and why I'm going there.
Right.
Exactly. Jojo likes onyx. She likes my dog.
And rose, and yes, her dog is named Onyx. Tiger eye, onyx, and rose quartz. I love all
Yeah.
those. All those are awesome stones, and they all have deep, wonderful, wonderful meanings. You
That's
you would say
that's
amethyst. This is the woman that needs to send me some cotton candy.
that's your favorite. This woman makes amazing cotton candy.
Oh, yeah.
She oh my gosh. You go to the store and it's a tub and it's like this. You go to stores and you can buy it. It's nothing. For the longest time I had never eaten cotton candy until this woman makes it. She makes green apple. She made what's Tootsie Roll chocolate. I was like, ah. And then she made one strawberry, banana, and chocolate. I was like, okay, I had a banana split. I was good. That's good.
I wish I had. Yeah, she makes them unbelievable and great flavors. I carry Jet Stone. Jet is amazing too. Jet
Yes.
is great. Wow, it is so light.
Hmm.
Jet and Adventurine Heart. I love onyx too. I have a nice heart that I just got too. And again, it's over there. I can't get them, but there's some beautiful things. And then I've got some beautiful stones that people have given me that have foxes on them.
Mm.
Engraved in them, kind of like
Right.
how you would do a rune.
Right.
But it's fox symbols and stuff.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, it's really neat. I got the thing that you put in your pocket that has the little thumb indent in it. So if you get nervous,
A rubbing stone.
yeah, you can.
Oh, right. Hmm.
So you can put your hand in your
Of
pocket
mine.
and you can rub
It
it.
won't go in the pocket.
Oh, that I think you might. I don't know. You might get looked
This
at.
is not a rubbing stone. This is to
That?
clock you upside the head stone.
Yeah, if you had that in your pocket when you went out, someone would definitely look at you a little funny.
I'd be walking sideways.
You steal a dinosaur egg.
It's a dragon egg. I'm the dragon queen. Hello.
Ah. I actually had an experience with Moldavite. I bought a Moldavite at one point, and I wore it. And every time I wore it, I would just like get so nasty, and I was like, "What the heck is going on?" And I realized suddenly it was the Moldavite, and so I stopped wearing it. and it went away.
Mm.
And I found another moldavite with what was it? A diamond. There's some kind of diamond. I can't think what it's called.
Herkimer?
Anyway, what was that?
Herkimer?
Yeah, a Herkimer diamond. So I combined the Herkimer with the moldavite, and it changed the energy so totally. I can wear that together, but I cannot wear moldavite alone at all. It turns me
Yeah.
like a nutcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Herkimer diamond is an amazing,
Yes.
crystal to have when you're working with energies.
Yes.
I have two in my possession. One is sitting here waiting to go out in the post office. I don't have to stand in line for because somebody's getting it in their mailbox. She doesn't know it yet.
Oh, okay.
It's been sitting there for a year.
Wow.
I had a bunch of stones that I had in mind for this one person who's helped me a lot, and she doesn't know it, but she's got a Herkimer diamond, and she's a Reiki practitioner, so it helps as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love my Herkimer diamonds.
Moldavite. That is a very. That's.
I want to go. Have you ever been? I know we're kind of getting off topic, but hey, it's good topics. Have you ever gone mining for your own crystals?
I went to gem shows and did that.
No.
But
There is a place in Herkimer, New York, where you get the Herkimer diamond. You can go. They have a Herkimer mine, and you can pay. I'm not sure how. We'll say $25 for the day, and anything you find, you keep. Yes, you may come home with nothing, but I watched a YouTube show where they did the, and I was like, oh my god, giant freaking! I was like, $25. That sucker's like a fortune, and they just walked out with it because they paid their interest fee. And that is something that is very interesting because you get into the dirt, you get into the work. So you're finding the crystal that's, for me, crystals call to me. When I go into a shop, I don't go in specifically one with a crystal in mind. I know that what I'm necessary to get there, unfortunately, me and my taste buds are like, it's like, hello, Darlene, find the most expensive rock calling to you, or the biggest thing that you can't carry out no matter what.
yeah.
But I think going mining for your own diamonds, for your own crystals would be fun.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I did that in North Carolina a couple of years ago. A friend and I near Asheville. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, what'd you
Didn't get.
get?
I got a few amethysts and a couple. I think what else did I get? I think I got some aventurine and a couple other things, but nothing great. But again, I'm one of those connect to it. What's supposed to come to me? So yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. And when I purchased for my husband, and I don't remember what kind of, I think it was a jade, a beautiful jade rock. And I just keep it in your pocket. It's for you. And I knew that this was what he needed at that time. And then I think about 2 months later, this man never misplaces anything. He knows exactly. He's very specific about where he puts things in, and he couldn't find the jade gem anywhere. And he was starting to get a little bit flustered. I said, "Dude, the reason you don't have it is because you no longer need it.
right.
Whoever needs it, they will find their way to him." And he was like,
Love, Mama.
"Eh," and he was like, "Yeah, okay, fine." And he just stopped freaking out about it because it was, and to this day, he still hasn't found it. Not that he's looking for it, but he does, like every so often he'd be like, all right, I said, what are you worried about for? It's not yours. Somebody else's. You needed it while you had it. And now that you no longer need it, maybe I just sort of knew this store that I go to, and I just kind of knew that this was what he needed at the time.
Yeah.
And now.
My pendulum is jade, and I love it. It's like that's my favorite. I have a whole bunch of pendulums because I'll sell them too when we go to events and whatnot. But I'll pick them up. I can use them all. But that one chose me. I got that at Taproot, this little place, little teeny shop, hole in the wall place, just packed with so much cool stuff.
Yep.
But the pendulum. I swear it was moving on its own over there on the rack, and I'm looking at it going, yeah, that's mine. And I picked it up. It just started shaking and vibrating. It has Mother Earth is what you hold, and I'm just like, yeah, this is fun.
I have 3 pendulums, and I can't work with pendulums because I have my hands shake. So for me, it's a constant thing. So I making it move, and so, but I know what I always wear my pendulums on my necklace, and so they're always with me. They're connected to me. So, but I know that, I mean, I can't sit there and hold this, for just this hand. None of my hands will stop shaking.
Well, they
It's just tiny little tremors. It's like, okay, we're good.
yeah, they do make little things that you can put them on, little stands, and you can put them on. You can put them on over a cloth.
Right.
I should check them out.
Yeah,
Yep.
there are different things that the different charts that you can put under there. There are ones for health. There are ones for prosperity. There are ones for yes, no, maybe questions. Dates, numbers, everything.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep. I have my pendulum show me what a yes, no, and a maybe is, and then I will write down what my questions are, shuffle them, turn them upside down on like a stack of cards, and then I'll ask.
And then put them over it.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I like
That's
that.
really neat. Yeah.
Actually, in the chat room, I'm thinking of getting my kid a gem digging kit for her 4th birthday coming up. She calls all rocks crystals. They are magical to her. They are, because they come from Mother Earth.
Get her
They
that,
are.
and then get her one of the tumblers too, so she can polish them all up.
Yeah. When I was working in New York in Manhattan, the first day I checked into the hotel, which was the hotel attached to the World Trade Center back in the 90s. And I checked in, it's late at night, after midnight, and I'm getting ready for bed. I have a 8 o'clock meeting with a new client, and I hear, go to the lobby. And I'm like, what? Go to the lobby now. I'm like, I want to go to bed. No, go to the lobby. So I get dressed back up. I go to the lobby, and I'm guided down the hallway toward the World Trade Center. And I'm in the Marriott that's part of that building. And I get halfway down, and I hear, over here, over here. And there was a ballroom there, and on each side of the doorway of the ballroom entrance was a crystal. And they were like this big, right?
Whoa.
One of them was an amethyst and one was a quartz crystal. And it was the quartz crystal that was talking to me. And it told me it wanted me to get it out of there.
Oh my God.
And
I wonder why. Was it someone that was there? Or?
it was 1999.
Oh,
okay.
Right
Oh, shit.
Oh, it knew it was going to happen.
It knew what was going to happen. And the amethyst on the other side of the doorway, I went over because I love amethyst. And I reached for, and I couldn't feel any energy. It was like it had already died. It was the weirdest thing. And like I said, I could always feel the energy. Every time I would check into the hotel, that crystal would call me down to the lobby and say, please get me out of here. And I'm like, right, I'm going to walk to the desk and say, excuse me, but that crystal wants me to take it. Yeah, right.
I need to take that with me in my luggage. Thank you very much.
This crystal right here out of there in the white jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wanted to go to Central Park.
Oh,
well, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So
made it in about 1 million pieces.
Yeah, actually, no, it got buried in there in the rubble. I felt it when it was all happening. So yeah.
God, that's so horrible.
Yeah.
Well, we'll never forget. We will never forget that.
No.
Yeah. What do we got here? See, I did some gem mining. Thing where you bought a bucket of rocks and sifted it on a green screen with running water. I have a 12.5 carat blue topaz. That was in the late 80s in Georgia. Yeah, that's what we did. At a gem show, you could get a little thing that was looked like a bucket of sand and dirt and stuff. You could do it that way, or they had big rectangle things that were just all covered with dirt, and you could go in and stand at a little section, and you could kind of dig in that section. And see what you got.
Interesting.
So we did that, and I got a couple just clear quartz there. But,
right.
It was something. It was fun to do. It was different.
Yeah.
But
that's what I found.
Yeah, with more gold than I did anything else because it was a gold and gem show.
Oh, okay.
Really nice gold bracelet.
You didn't have to dig for that one.
No, I had to dig for the money for it because it was all engraved and everything. But I loved it. I still have it.
That's got my name on it.
Things here. I just found something else that's going to have your name on it.
There you go.
Yeah,
I always tease Gina because she's got so much stuff in there and I because I was thinking one day, what am I going to do when we go? What are we going to do
Hi, Renee.
when we leave this earth? What am I going to do with all my crystals, all my cards, with all my books? And my daughter goes, Mom, hello. But it was just a thought. And then Gina goes, I don't know if my kids would want it. I was like, okay, I'm going to start picking things out. You're going to stick my name on it. So she's going, listen
But
to
I
Mama
got,
D.
I
I'm
have
a
a
giant
butterfly.
pickup truck.
I have a butterfly bench that's in my bathroom. It's like an outside bench, and it's all cracked, like broken mosaic
Pottery?
pieces,
Yeah.
Oh,
pottery, and it's all butterflies and papillon. And
Mhm.
I got it because
Oh,
papillon, my
cool.
dog is a papillon, and I
Yeah.
have a butterfly thing too. But it's a butterfly bench, and I'm like, well, that has to go to Mama too. So I'm like, well,
Hello,
I'm gonna
yes.
stick a
I
thing
know.
underneath there now.
I swear to God, I'm going to have a cargo plane full of stuff.
And I wouldn't even miss it in this house full of stuff. I just gave away a ton of stuff
So
the
if
other
things
day.
start to disappear and you haven't found me in a while, I had to scooch down there to Pennsylvania. Oh, wait a minute, I can't do that yet. They're not allowing me to cross the border yet.
Well, we're in the green now. I don't know. How are you doing with the COVID stuff? Are you all done with restrictions where you're at?
Oh, here in Florida?
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
you're in Florida. Hoo-ha.
yeah. Well, let's put it this way. They lifted all the restrictions. Nobody's wearing masks but me. When I go out to the park, literally yesterday, I walked through this whole park I go to. I was the only person with a mask at all. And
Yeah, exactly.
the numbers are going up every day dramatically, and everybody's ignoring it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
I have, my
Yeah.
daughter has sent me masks that she made
Hmm.
or had made for me. And I'm like, okay, I'm good. Better than the little regular ones, pretty ones.
Hmm.
Bob says I'm
Right.
getting furnitureless.
And I
No.
said, yes, he is. I'm going to bury you in the backyard, Bob. I'm taking over the whole place. Forget that shit. I love you.
It's all the metaphysical stuff. You don't want it.
You can keep your little office, okay? I got the rest of the stuff.
So how are you two doing with COVID?
Well, Pennsylvania just started going green around here with different things. You know what? Since the whole thing started, I kind of stay home as it is. It didn't really
Right.
affect my life except for the fact that we couldn't go do our events and our ghost hunts and things like that we always have done.
Right.
So that that's impacted. But personally, I don't really like going out grocery shopping. I actually hate it, and I think
Can't wait till I get there.
I I haven't gone. Bob's been going. He's an essential worker. So he's been working. He's been going out and doing his things, and so it really isn't too much different for me.
Hmm.
But it is going green now. Things are getting a little different. The crazy people is what gets me. That is what irritates me.
Hmm.
People that will abuse and use a situation to do bad things and then claim to be a victim. All right.
Right.
Mm.
Yep.
That irritates me. Everyone knows basically right from wrong. You know it's wrong to deface a statue. You know it's wrong to go and loot a store. You know it's wrong to harm people. You know it's wrong to have these riots and throw bricks at poor freaking horses. You know it's wrong to be like Hitler and condone or condemn a whole race of people like the police department for the acts of a few. All right.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, it wasn't cops who did that. It was assholes who did that. Sorry.
No, the assholes. It's the assholes that do
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like but it's just people taking advantage. And then saying, "Oh well, it's Black Lives Matter. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's like, yeah, you can spin it however you want.
Right.
You're doing wrong. Plain and simple.
Right.
End of story.
Yep.
And I'm really getting sick of it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if anybody listening wants a symbol for COVID, I have those for free.
Is
So
that
if you,
on the site that you put up there? You have that banner up there?
no, I didn't think to do that. EnergyTuneUp.com/COVID19.html. How can I?
All
I
right.
can do that.
Can you change? All right. So slash COVID mode.
COVID-19 opt-in op. No, I'm sorry. COVID-19.html.
Sweet. So yeah, so we did get like a way off of all the subjects and the things that
Well, with Joe.
Delia does. More than our usual.
It's
But
this show should come with a warning. Nothing's gonna stick to the script or scripts. There we go.
all right, that looks good. Is that right?
I think so. Let me double check.
Slash COVID-19 dot HTML.
Yep, that looks right.
All right, there you go. A free Krystagraph. So what you would do when you get that is what? Put it in your.
There'll be instructions on how to use it. You can actually do some other things with these as well. So I actually have a coaster with one for total health, and I set my drinks on it, and then it absorbs it into the water. Or
Nice.
like I have an immune builder and vitamin C and things like that. I paste them on my water bottle and let them energize my water. So when I'm drinking it, I get my vitamins.
Well, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Or like with the COVID one, what I've done is I leave it out where I see it regularly, but I also print a copy and put it in my bed underneath the sheet and sleep on it. So I'm taking that energy in to stay healthy and keep
Ooh,
my
very
immune
good.
system built for it.
Awesome.
So, and I didn't feel right about selling that to people. So when I got it, I just put it up and you just opt in. And there's a bunch of other resources there as well. And I
And
think there's actually a coronavirus sound medicine from my friend that I was mentioning as well for.
Oh,
I don't think she's charging for it anymore. She wasn't, but I don't know if she's cut that off or not because I haven't asked her. But yeah, there's a bunch of resources there as well for other things for COVID and you can build your immune system anyway because there's other things for building immune system as well on that page.
that's awesome. Plus, you can also sign up for a newsletter that she puts out, and she's
Yes.
very informative newsletters, and and they come a lot. She puts a lot of work into what she does. There's no doubt about it. She's very dedicated. And it's all helpful information, helpful things. For you. She's living proof right there that it works.
Yeah.
Find what works for you.
Right, and that's what's important is if it doesn't work for you, go look for something else. Don't assume that everything's going to work for everybody because it doesn't.
No.
But she
And
needs something to cover all the different areas, all the different
Yeah.
subjects, all the different things that can happen. So that's that's a plus.
Yeah.
And see, here's to me is this proves to me that she's the real thing. Okay? Because most practitioners of any form of energy healing will say, look, I may not be what you need. So go find somebody else. They will, send you in the direction of other people. Like you have your friend who does sound healing and anything else. Those are the people that say to me that are the real thing because you are willing to say, I'm not doing this for the money. You give away so much, but for you to just somebody wants a specific crystallograph, they would have to pay you for it. But if they're not drawn to it, why are you buying it just because?
Right.
So you will send them to somebody else because you know that I'm not going to sell you something just for the money. You do what you do because you know it's going to work, and not everybody does gets the same thing from the same things. But
if you came in late in the show, go back to the beginning and listen to her story. Look at what she went through. The things she's overcome, and the between getting stabbed by her boyfriend, another volatile relationship, going from millionaire to broke, it's like this constant thing. Everybody's life has a constant.
Yep. As a roller coaster, has different paths.
Yeah, and it's your choice. Your choice. You choose. You decide what you want to do to help your life, or stay in the same life that and why me and cry? Why is this black cloud following me? Oh.
As a black cloud's following me, I better have some thunder and lightning because that's to me that's a silver lining. Because when you said you were lost in the desert and thunder and lightning storm started, I'd be like,
Right.
"Ooh, I want to sit in there."
I love that.
I love thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be out chasing the tumbleweeds going by.
Well, I was terrified of lightning to the point I could not drive down the road without jerking my wheel if I saw a bolt of lightning in the sky. And I used hypnosis literally years ago to overcome that. And one day well, you see, I'm out in the desert. I wasn't really freaking out. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
there's lightning. I just got over it. It was like, and now I actually enjoy lightning storms. I don't worry about it. It's
Oh, I
awesome.
sit there and watch them. I try and tape them and catch pictures of it when it's. I was like, I think
Oh yeah.
it's the power of the energy of the earth and
Mhm.
the universe, and just okay. I'm going to shut up now.
Why? Why?
Mm.
Bob's always sitting out on the porch. I got a nice screened-in porch down there. It's his cigar zone, but he's always out there, and he
You
gets
can keep that room too.
the best. You can, see, isn't she nice? She lets you keep your cigar room.
Keep your cigar room there, Bob. Sign.
He gets the best pictures of all the storms. I mean, you get a really good view
Oh
around
yeah.
for catching the lightning, and yeah, he always gets great pictures. I try to get it, and it's just a big flash of light.
Ashley in the chat room says her aunt was struck by lightning, and it
Oh, no.
blew her boot off.
No way. Oh my
Wow.
God.
Yeah. Wow.
Now I know people like my husband when he was in Virginia, because he's an American. I had to bring him up. Oop, almost done. We had to bring him up from the States, and he saw a pig explode by being shot. So he doesn't like lightning. I'm there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
shutting up now. Got 90 seconds left. Let's go.
I know, 90 seconds. Oh my God. All right, go. Put up her banner right again, real quick for her thing. I gotta
Okay.
find her.
So it's energytuneup.com, and for the free COVID-19 Krystagraph /COVID.19.
All right.
Right.
These are all her things that you can see on her sites, and her Krystagraphs and her energy tune-ups and all of those things. And she is amazing. Go just hook up with her.
Go check her out.
Yeah, find her on Facebook, on Twitter, all those things. And where's our video? I can't find
We
it.
don't know. I didn't remove it. That's all I can say.
Intro, exit. There we go. I found it. It's good.
See y'all next week, people.
Yeah, thanks, Krystalya, for
Thank
being here with
you.
us, having fun with us, and hanging with us. Hang out for a couple minutes, and we'll be back next week, guys. Ciao for now. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode of The Fox Den. We would love it if you would go over to our YouTube channel, which is The Fox Den, hosted by Gina Bankston. Please like and subscribe our channel and join us in the chat room there while we stream live every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you next week. Good night.